You might have experience with individual components of OnBase, but did you know that there are some components that work well together? Now let's look at how Unity forms and document composition can work together to create a pretty cool solution. SnackBytes is brought to you by Datum Evolve. We're a Hyland partner and reseller. If you've enjoyed our videos and want us to help you with our services, please reach out. Let me paint the picture for you. You have document composition in your environment, and you're looking for an easy, user-friendly way for them to customize the values or the text within the letter and be able to send it out. Well, you can match Unity forms and document composition together to, on an ad hoc basis, be able to generate a customized letter. So this video of SnackBytes is going to be a solution build. We're gonna build a solution in this whole video episode. So strap in. So if you're starting out, if you're not familiar with either Unity forms or document composition, then I'm sure you're gonna find value within what it is that we build, or at least give you some ideas on how you can leverage either of these components of OnBase within your system. And hopefully you'll get some tips and tricks along the way. All right, so let's just get right into it. So like any good cooking show, there are elements of this that are pre-baked. So we have already put them in the oven. And in this scenario, I've already created the document types for what it is that we're gonna build. So if you're not familiar with creating document types or configuring keywords to document types, there are plenty of resources on Hyland University if you just want a refresher or want to walk through those components prior to doing this. All right, so the first element that we're gonna have in our design is we wanna have a cool Unity form. So we want our user to be able to put in the values, maybe select a letter, and then we're gonna run that through Workflow to then populate those fields to a document composition template and spit out our custom letter. So let's start by creating our Unity form. So we'll go into Form Designer, Create. We're gonna base this off of a document type. And we have a lot of credit union customers, so this will be themed in the area of financial services. So our document type, I have created the Spud Letter Unity form prior to this episode. And let's give it a name, Spud Credit Union Letter Generation. In this section, you have the option to optimize it for multiple sizes. We know that our users are gonna be primarily working in OnBase for this, so I'm gonna uncheck it just because sometimes it causes issues if you're working with multi-instance keyword groups, for instance. We want this to be clean. So our form pops up. I always like to start with a section. I think it looks cool on the form. We'll just call it letter information. I'm not feeling very creative with how I'm naming things today, so just bear with me. And then once that is done, I always like to throw in a little panel. Let's start with 3 columns, and we're gonna have to do the math to split this out. And let's look at our keywords that we have. So I know that on this form, I am gonna use keywords, but then I'm also gonna show you some customized form fields that then we will map to document composition. All right, so we have our member information. We have their first name, their last name. Let's throw in their member number, and then their address, city, state, and then maybe under the state, we'll throw the zip code. Quick and dirty. And let's create another section where we're going to specify the options. So things that are going to go directly onto our letter. What should we call this? We're gonna throw a panel in here as well. And I'm just gonna save this just in case something happens and we have to go back in. I think there's an instructor that always says save often. And here I want to give them the option of being able to select. So I want this form to be scalable. So I've created a letter template keyword, which has a data set that reaches out. It's an external data set, and it reaches out to our OnBase database and gives us a list of letter types, template types, so that down the road, as long as there's common information, and we know we'll always have a first name, last name, member number, that then someone can come in and create a different type of letter. We've got state, zip code, letter type, and then you know what? We want some custom text to go in there. So maybe on our letter, we'll have a little section where we give some instructions maybe as to what happens or what should they do next. So let's create a multi-line text box, and we will call this custom letter text. And for this one, I do want to give it a field name just so that I can find it later on when we go into workflow or .comp field, custom letter text. Here's a quick tip about fields. I do recommend that you take the time and you name your field IDs. So here's just an example for first name. Because it's a keyword, I'm going to prefix it with keyword and then first name. So then this makes it easier when we're creating custom actions. This form doesn't have any custom actions, but custom actions, or then when we go into workflow and we're trying to access that field, if it's not a keyword, then we know. Makes it easy for us to see. All right, so we have our, let's change this label to member information because we know that it's member, and then we have letter properties. And I think we have everything that we need for our letter. All right, so let's test drive our form to make sure that all of our elements worked. The other thing that I did was I also created an autofill. So this will make it easier for our users. We just have to put in our member number, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, and then it will, oh, I didn't set it to autofill when I added the field to the form. So here's a little bit of troubleshooting. Let's go over to member and let's see here. Let's go into autofill and let's add that autofill to the field. Now let's test drive again. I'm going to add our member number, and there we go. All right, we have Robert Williams who lives in Ann Arbor. And for our letter template, we want to check to see if that data set is working. And it is. We have a variety of different letter templates that we could use for this. And I think our Unity form is done and dusted. So let's publish it. That should be enough to get us going. We have our Unity form. Our next step, what I like to do is I like to save workflow for last, because you never know how you have to adjust the keywords and get them into the document composition template. So I'm going to jump into .comp. I'm going to go into Word here. And all right, so for the sake of this solution, we have a letter that is going to tell our members, we're going to pull from Monopoly. So this is a bank error in your favor letter. So this is a letter that you're going to want to get. This means that something happened and now you get $25. So let's go in here and let's start adding placeholders into areas where we want to feed from our main document, our Unity form, into this template. So to do that, we're going to add some placeholders, and we want keywords. So we're going to take our document type group, which was our Bud Credit Union, our letter Unity form, and let's just copy over all the keywords. Because we know we're going to use most of them, right? We might not use all of them, but we're going to use most of them. All right, so we have our member name. All right, so we want the member name to be a combination of the first and last name. Now, you could use fragments, and I'll probably do a video down the road on how to build out fragments and how to use fragments. But in this case, we're going to keep it simple. So we're just going to add the first name, jump over, and then we're going to add the last name. Now, the other thing that you want to take a look at is OnBase will capitalize all of its keywords. Now, we might not want to have our first name and last name be all caps. Who knows? But what we can do is we can go in and we can change the setup of it. So we can now change it over to a proper noun where it will use mixed cases. And it's not required. We're not going to map it to anything. And we're going to do the same thing for our last name. Proper noun, finish. That is totally fine. Go back over to placeholders, keywords. Now we want to add a mailing address. So we're going to highlight, add the mailing address. And we're going to do the same thing as we did with first name with city, state, zip. You know, we just want to use it. City usually has a comma after it. And we're going to add the state. And we're going to add a little bit of a space. And we got the zip code. All right, so what I like to do after I've configured a couple of placeholders is I would like to kind of test the composition. So I'm going to go into preview. I'm going to use a document. And I've also put in a document into our system just so that we have something to test with. We have our lone Unity form, and it's just basic retrieval panel. You're going to select our document and we're going to compose it. And this way we can see.
Why didn't it work?
So what happened? Why did it not work? Oh, let's save our template. Development is always, one part troubleshooting, 9 parts development. And now let's compose and see if we have information. And we do. Okay, we've got the formatting is a little weird. I could play with that, but you can see we're getting the information back. This is great. Now let's continue on. So our member name, we can just copy. Let's see if it'll let us copy our placeholders. Give it a try. Maybe save us some time here. Does it have the placeholder? It does. And additional information. Ooh, this is going to be a new placeholder. This is going to be a Unity form field. Fun stuff. Yeah, we find our Unity form. So it's letter generation. And here are all the field names for it. So this is where our naming convention helps, because we know we want the field for the custom letter text. So let's just add that. And let's just make sure that this is proper noun so that we don't have the bold all caps message. We go through our credit union name is Spud Credit Union, which I don't have on the form, but it's okay. I'll just make it hard-coded text. Credit union. And then, sincerely, let's use the current user's real name. We could, on the Unity form, create a field and then take the current user's real name into there, but I didn't add that to the Unity form. Again, bad design. So we're just gonna try it, see what happens. Let's add the name, current user's real name. And then I'm just going to take out these other elements and let us save and see what we have now. All right, we got Robert Williams. Ooh, we have our custom text. Hello, congrats on having more money in your pocket. Use it for snack. Should have been snacks. And then sincerely, me, because I'm the current user. Our date. Let's create a placeholder that can have our date on it. And do we want to use, let's see what our options are in placeholders. So we have date and time. Perfect. So we're going to do long date. And we're going to have our placeholder here be the date. Fix our formatting a little bit. Let me just make this all the same. 10, Arial. Let me just select everything and make it the same. Who wants a letter that has different fonts on it? All right. So go back to template. Let's save it. Let's compose off of our same document. Let's see what we get. All right, we got the date. Ooh, we are missing an amount. So this is a custom field that we wanted the user to put in. So let's jump back to our Unity form now. And let's add a field for, do we have it in our keywords? First, I'm going to check. We don't. All right. So we're going to create a text bot for this specific item amount. We'll call it field amount. So let's publish that. And we're going to go in and we're going to create a new one so that we can use this for our test. So let's generate, we have our member ID 1, 0, 0, 0, 0. Let's do 3. See what that brings up. Oh, Patricia Brown. She lives in Lansing. So our letter template, bank error in favor. Our amount will do, what is it normally in Monopoly? I think it's $25. And congratulations, you now have $25 more in your pocket. Buy some snacks. Okay, so we know that we need to add a Unity form field because we only have the old ones from before when we changed the form. So let's see if our new keyword now is in here. Field amount. Perfect. So we're going to highlight the amount. Let's use our Unity field property, field amount. Let's go on the other side, and let's make this bold. We're going to save our template, and this should be good at this point. All right, Patricia Brown. Yep, we have our $25, our new text, our custom text. I think our template's done. Let's go over and work on some workflow. All right, so in our big master plan, our big design, we have a Unity form. We have the front end. We have the .comp letter template. We have the back end, I guess. And then now we need to figure out how to get all these things working here in the middle. And what are we going to leverage? So we're going to leverage workflow. This allows us to get the document in. We don't have to. We can clean up the data as it comes in, do validation, do checks. But for this specific scenario, we're just going to pass it through and create a letter and save it in the queue so that we can validate that it's working. But in the business case scenario, after this step, you could send an email or drop it in a folder location for some sort of batch printing. So let's get to workflow. I've already created a lifecycle, and this is raw. So I haven't added any logic to this. So you're going to see kind of how I would do this. Normally what I would do is any transition elements after it gets into the initial queue, I would put that into a timer. But for the sake of this situation, I'm going to just add it to our system work. Process letter. Here we're going to type in transition because we know that it will pop up. It'll be there. Let's specify process letter. And then here, I'm going to wire it into an ad hoc task. So this gives us the ability to make it easy to show you how it works. So Control H, we want a new one. Generate letter. Add everyone that's assigned to the queue. And finish. All right. So got a letter in our head. We have a letter that came in. Really, we don't have to do any work to it. We could take the first name and last name and turn it into a full name, but we've kind of done all the work on the .com template. So this will be simple. This will just be an ad hoc task that generates the letter. But, how are we going to know what letter? Now we have that cool keyword now that we've created that on the Unity form that tells us what template in the database to create the letter from. So that is our first step. Letter template. And we want to use our keyword letter template. And I'm going to set this to scoped just in case we have multiple forms that we want to process at the same time. All right, now let's generate. And what should I name this? Just call it .create letter. Ooh, it's compose. That's what the shortcut is. Compose document. Oh, we could have used the template from a keyword and saved ourselves an extra step, but I am going to grab it from the property. Fine, because I like to make things a little bit more complicated than they have to. All right, let's override the template settings. Let's force the document type, and we have spud letter, keywords from field, and table. And let's view. Well, we'll just keep viewing it. We'll keep popping up the letter for the user 100 times. All right, and that should be it. Now we have the workflow property. I'm gonna reset the cache. And now let's see if our solution works. Shall we? All right, so the first thing we gotta do is we gotta create a new form. We could take our old form and just put it in a workflow, but this makes it more fun. Let's see what name pops up. Oh, we don't have. I'm missing a 0. All right, now here we go. John Jones from Livonia. Oh, that's the town right over from us. All right, Spud, bank errors in our favor. How much do we want to give? Let's do $50. Congratulations on an extra in your pocket. Buy some snacks. Submit that, and we should see it kind of pop up in our workflow. Let's go into workflow and see if we have it. All right, so Spud Credit Union letter processing, Unity form. We have our Unity form in there. We have our ad hoc. Here's the moment of truth. This is where we cross our fingers and hope that everything is working. Hit the button, hit the button, hit the button, hit the button, hit the button. Oh, what happened? Bug report. What did we forget? Do we have us as a security manager? Okay. So this is, let's see. This is why we test. So let's make sure that everyone has the permissions to be able to edit it. So if you get that bug report, it's probably where you should look. All right, now let's go back into workflow and let's generate our letter. I'm gonna close my eyes. Did it do it? It did. Hey, we have a letter and it's in OnBase. Our solution works. All right, well, as you can see, I think we did a good job today of being able to explain certain things and give you a solution that you can now play with or create within your organization. So we've solved the problem. If your users want to have some sort of a customized way of creating letters in your system, then just use a Unity form and marry it to a .comp template with a little bit of workflow, and you'll have it. You'll impress everyone. I sure did. With all of our exceptions that we work through in Troubleshoot. But that's the nature of the beast. All right, here we go. It's snack time. We have $50 extra to buy snacks. I didn't spend that much, but let's go into our snack box. See what we have. Maybe this time we can go a little bit. All right, I'll close my eyes and see if it's something good. Ooh, okay. All right, today's snack, the crackers. Sponsored by your Yitch. I don't know what language this is. Let me put on my glasses so that I can see where this was from. Where is this from? Because this video isn't long enough. Can't tell. It says shake before using. Oh well. I'll eat it anyway. It looks like Cheetos. Hopefully it tastes like Cheetos. Oh, no, they're not Cheetos. They're like more like little crackers. They're like miniature. They're not even yellow like Cheetos, like the fake yellow. They're kind of plain, they have. Pretty good. It tastes a little stale. There's a little bit of a cheese, but like a natural cheese, not like a Cheetos fake cheese. They're pretty good. I would eat this. This is a good one. I'm gonna tell my friends. Hope you enjoyed our solutions today.